Welcome in, Dark Hearts, and welcome to Nerd Network News. Sitting across from me today is Aaron Dismuke. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. I am a voice actor. I work primarily in dubbed anime. I've been doing it for 22 years, because I started when I was 9. I'm 31. I'm very bad at math, but I think that clocks out. Yeah, so you may have heard me in things like Fruits Basket, Full Metal Alchemist, Dr. Stone, My Hero Academia, other things. Yeah, I have voiced about 20 lead characters through my career, and I've voiced hundreds if you count all of the bit parts like Soldier A, Dr. B, Student C, so forth and so on. I've also directed for many shows. I was an assistant director for Fairy Tail, and I've adapted scripts for the likes of Tokyo Ghoul, Attack on Titan, Fire Force, Overlord, Dr. Stone, so forth and so on.
Major compliments to how you adapted the Tokyo Ghoul script.
Oh, thank you very much.
Beautifully.
That's very kind. Season 1, I only did a couple episodes, and I was still being trained by Monica Rial, and so most of the credit, even for my script, should go to her.
With doing adapting scripts versus doing the voice acting itself, what are some of the things you prefer on one versus the other?
Okay. Well, first of all, just about everybody who does acting and another gig that's related would rather just do acting. But acting is by nature not very reliable work. We all have dry seasons where you just don't get cast for a little while, or you're waiting for some parts to come back or something like that. So it's essential if you want to make your living as an artist. For me, it was all about how can I quit waiting tables?
Oh.
So that started for me with adapting scripts, and then it went from adapting scripts to directing. Yeah, so the best thing about adapting scripts is it's consistent work that pays pretty well per hour. And it's also a little bit safer from a athleticism standpoint. They call it extreme vocals whenever you're doing anime, battle cries and screams and stuff. People can hurt themselves. I have hurt myself doing it. So it's nice in that regard. It's also fun. I think the dream is to adapt a script and then get to voice it myself, which has happened once or twice, and that's so nice because I get to really agonize over the meaning of what's happening. I get to go a little into the Stanislavski, the method, with really thinking about why I'm saying this and what my action is, and what the subtext is of given lines, in a way that you don't really get to if you're just doing voice acting with a script you've never seen before, which typically you get called in and you see a script for the first time and you do a couple takes to come up with the voice with the director's help, and then you just read words you've never seen before in your life. Yeah.
Wow, that is so cool. How did you get started on this career path?
Oh, nepotism. Yeah. My cousin is named Justin Cook. He was directing a show called Fruits Basket. Yeah, you may know him as... So he's Yusuke Urameshi in Yu Yu Hakusho. That's my favorite. Then there's... he's the rock guy from My Hero Academia. Kirishima.
That Twin Cities guy.
Yeah. Yes. Kirishima, Red Riot. Yeah, he was directing for Fruits Basket. And this was the era at Funimation where, they were doing Dragon Ball and, 4 other shows, And if you look at Dragon Ball at that era, you will have scenes where Chris Sabat is fighting Chris Sabat while Chris Sabat commentates.
Yeah.
Piccolo versus Vegeta while Yamcha watches. They did not have very many actors to work with. They didn't have very many people auditioning. And so, I think that he had straight up run out of adult women who could do believable teenage boy voices. Not teenage, pre-adolescent boy voices. And he was like, do I know any pre-adolescent boys who are literate? And I was chilling, and I closed my copy of Lord of the Rings, which I was pretending to read at age 9, and I was like, oh, hi there. Let me just heave this onto its shelf above my mahogany desk. And he was like, Aaron, let's try you. And he tried me, and my great talent was being pre-adolescent male. Yeah, and by the time that didn't cut it anymore because I sounded like a teenager, and a bunch of people in their 30s can sound like teenagers for some reason. I'm still one of those. Or I'm now one of those. By the time I had to compete against basically the real actors, the actors who would trained and studied for that goal, I had had enough in the booth experience that I was able to compete.
Oh, right. What are some of your favorite things about working cons?
Oh, you get that occasional experience that you just can't get anywhere but at a con. So at this con, it's at a water park, and last night there was a night swim, which was the water park was just kept open later. And so we were in this outdoor hot tub thing, which anywhere else would just be like a weird party that was a little too crowded and wouldn't really be my scene. But it was really enhanced, I think, by the arrival and dancing and the chanting of the crowd in response to a giant inflatable octopus person.
Oh, I didn't see that.
I didn't either. We were out there.
Massive octopus person. Was just vibing out there with us.
Awesome. We saw Godzilla.
Yeah. That's anime conventions. That's the beauty of it. Yeah, it's very nice to go out and people line up to say nice things to you and help you pay your bills. I can't think of like a better... It's very nice. And we don't make a ton of money from the actual work, partially because it's that consistent. I mean, it's inconsistent work. Yeah. So like, one of my most popular characters is Tamaki Amajiki in My Hero Academia. He probably has had less than 10 hours in the booth. And we get paid by the hour. Yeah, it's not like we get residuals or anything. So, that said, Tamaki has been a huge part of my ability to support myself because of fans. So yeah.
So y'all better make sure you come to these conventions. Mm-hmm. How does Colossal Con stack up to other cons?
I found it to be very chill. The schedule was way more manageable. It had less of a corporate vibe than a lot of the big cons, or even cons that are of a comparable size to it had. Yeah, I really liked it. There's a good mix of activities and a nice camaraderie that I sensed amongst the attendees. Yeah, I liked it.
All right, let's get to the fun question. What are some of your nerdy hobbies and passions?
Let's see. I am a big history fan. I really like Dan Carlin's hardcore history. I like to collect translated classical texts.
Yes!
So like I've got, Livy and Polybius and Thucydides. I probably said his name wrong, but I like the first-person historical sources. I like to go through that sort of thing. And I'm working on a comic with my partner, and I'm hoping to get that out. I have it's not really a hutch. It's an alley that I fortified. It's a fortified alley that I have wired the ceiling of so that nothing can get in. And we keep 6 quail in there.
So cool.
And I like gardening as well. I am currently waiting for the grapes that I propagated a year ago to see if they're going to make any grapevines I propagated to see if they're going to make any grapes this year. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's so fun.
I do watch anime too.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, for the
That's
record.
a given. Of your hobbies, what would you spend most of your time on?
I forgot to mention, I do play video games too. And the truth is that I probably spend more time on video games than any of those ones. To some extent, I find myself picking up other hobbies because I want to have something to talk about whenever people are like, so what you been up to? And it's so much better to say, I got 6 quail than to say, I beat Slice and Dice on brutal difficulty after 156 attempts. I haven't yet. I'm still trying. I got to the last level. It's so hard. Slice and Dice is so hard. But I do like indie-ish games. I've been trying to play more of those and less. I'm basically trying to get clean of online multiplayer competitive games. Those are drugs.
They're toxic.
Yeah.
Very much.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're listening to this and you play League of Legends, there is help out there. Please go to r/stopgaming on reddit.com. There is a way out. I know you're not happy. You're in an abusive relationship. Run.
This is not an ad for League of Legends.
Although I could see them using it.
Oh my god. They just used that audio and then they're like, download here.
I could 100% see them doing that. They'll hear this, they'll be like, mission accomplished.
They're like, we can use this.
Yes. Alright, PC versus console gaming.
PC. Hard. Easy.
One for you.
Hey, finally, someone over.
I really like itch.io a lot because gives its creators the best cut out of any game publishing method that I know of, and I think that consoles are just kind of slow, and they don't, it takes forever for good indie games to get onto console, if they ever do.
Fair.
And then once they do, they don't always adapt very well, whereas keyboard and mouse tends to work pretty well for most games. I found. Yeah.
Gosh, I wonder if you've noticed this or what your thoughts are on this. So, all the big developers, since you mentioned indie games, have been doing these mass layoffs, and then their top creative people are retiring amicably. Do you see indie games kind of taking the mantle?
Yeah. The thing is, gaming as it stands is not, in my opinion, very healthy for people. AAA games, I earnestly believe, do a little more harm than good right now. If a game requires for you to have said, I played this game and got my value out of it, if the game requires 500 hours of content, I don't, and we're saying content, I don't think that's an artistic experience. I don't think that game is, I think that game is instead offering sort of like an escapism or a power fantasy or something that I just wish that person would spend those 500 hours learning an instrument or, not to toot my own thing, or gardening, grow some vegetables. You're going to be happier at the end of it and you'll have learned more, I think. There are some exceptions, some games like The Witcher have a whole lot of content, but also really make you think and I think change your perspective on the world. But those are few and far between. Whereas you take a game I played a game called Nauticrawl, which was, it's what you call diegetic gaming. So you open the game and you're looking at this console, and the console has like a crank that you can pull and a little wizard that you can spin, and some things that say kilometers per hour and oxygen level and fuel and stuff like that. And there's no tutorial. And at first you're like, why is there no tutorial for this game? And you try to turn stuff on and you accidentally run out of oxygen just because you spewed it out of the thing on accident, right? And then it says, you get in again, it just starts you over in the exact same spot, and it says, I forget if it was prisoner or just slave number 472, and before you were slave number 322. And what you slowly realize is that you were playing as a slave who has escaped from a dystopian underwater society, and you learn this from eavesdropping on radio waves from the people who were hunting you. Because the radio is one of the interfaces in there, and everything you see is what the person you're playing as would see. The HUD is what the player and the character are both seeing. There's no difference. There's no divide between the player's view and the character's view. And learning how to operate the device, that struggle is something that the player and the character fully share. Because the character would never have been taught to use this thing. So it's utterly different than in Halo, because Master Chief should know how to operate a warthog. He should know how to take his weapon apart and then rebuild it, right? But the player doesn't know these things. And so there's this well, am I supposed to be a badass? Not in this game. Anyway, that game was a total of 4 hours, and it was 4 beautiful hours that made me think, that gave me, I still got the dopamine hits. And then it was over, and I put it away, and it was like I had finished a book,
Yeah.
I like it when games end.
It feels really immersive. I love that. Now I want to play. It's a PC game, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's also $6. Yeah.
That sounds so cool.
Highly recommend.
You never see games like that, It's not usually.
It's all about where you look. I'll plug a YouTuber, Splattercat Gaming, finds good games. Yeah.
And now we'll be able to look them up as well.
There you go.
You just gained an extra follower. When you're going to audition for one of your voice acting roles, what are some attributes that you look for before you decide on the audition or the character?
First, I try to find a character I read everything. I look at their faces, and I'll decide based on their faces if I could picture my voice coming out of that face. There's always art, right? And even if I don't think I could picture it, I'll still read it. at least if I have time, because I often learn things from other people's sides about the characters that I am auditioning for, because a lot of these characters talk to each other. So I'll read everybody's sides, and then whoever's writing I liked the most, I kind of start with them. I like, these days, having had some vocal strain problems, I like a quieter character. I like a little, like, I'm a big fan of the sulky characters and the fancy characters who are always in control. So I've been enjoying seeking out those kind of roles. If a role is like a big ball of energy, like if it's like a Bakugo kind of character, I won't even read for it anymore. I'll leave those ones to Cliff Chapin. Yeah, I think that about covers it.
Oh my god. How would you, like, thematically stack up some of the roles you've done, like Alphonse or Lucifer, and in My Hero Academia? We know not to ask your favorite roles, but, like, some of the things you liked about each of those characters.
I think I've enjoyed... So for a long time, my typecast, I think, was awkward boys, because I was an awkward boy. So, like, you've got Lucifer, you've got Tamaki from MHA, Alphonse, all of them not very socially skilled. Leonardo Watch from Blood Blockade Battlefront, awkward boy. So for a long time, I think from like age like 12 to 20, I was just awkward boys. And then I ended up getting enough experience to where I was able to start reading for different sort of things, like people who are a little more in control. And then I've been lucky enough to get, I think more recently, sort of get to voice geniuses, which is really fun. Because, it's fun to pretend to be smarter than I am. So Senku in Dr. Stone, Moriarty and Moriarty the Patriot. Oh, what's his name? It's the show is called Legend of the Galactic Heroes, and I'm the main villain in that one. Reinhard is his name. And he is evil villain. There was another one that I'm forgetting right now, but that's okay. Yeah, I've gotten to play some clever boys. And then I've also lately gotten to play some sulky boys. You can pretty much just like pick one emotion and categorize your characters under their sort of default emotional filter. Like everything that Chigiri from Blue Lock says is going to go through a little sulky filter. So he's going to be a little bit breathier and a little bit lower pitch and kind of sigh out his lines. And I don't know, it's fun to think of things in those terms. Yeah.
Would you like to give your socials at all?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter, Aaron Dismuke. You can also find me at aarondismuke.com. Yeah, thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate you.
Thank you for talking nerdy with us today, Aaron.
Absolutely.